Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over how to stop being a bot in Fortnite. When it comes to being a Fortnite player, being called a bot is basically as bad as it gets. Fortnite's one of those games where since the skill gap is so wide, it can be really frustrating to play if you aren't at least average, and it's not like you can get significantly better overnight like you can with some other games out there. But there is some good news if you think you're a bad player, and that's the fact that it's a lot easier to go from bad to average than it is to go from average to very good, and it's even harder to go from very good to great. So this video is designed to help the players that feel like they're below average and are tired of being like that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so one of the most important tips I can give to players who feel that they're below average at the game is to not play scared and not revolve the way you play around your skill level. I believe that one of the biggest reasons why bad players sometimes stay bad is because they realize they're bad, and that leads to them playing in a way where it's almost like they're afraid to get into fights. At the end of the day, the number one indicator of a player's skill and how much they're going to improve is how many fights they get into. Of course, genetics and previous shooter video game experience does absolutely have somewhat of an effect, but a player who's gotten into 5,000 total fights is going to be better than the game at someone who's gotten into 2,000 total fights the vast majority of the time. So here's one of the biggest mistakes that bad players make. They basically try to avoid every fight that they don't have a massive advantage in. Sure, they'll take a fight if it's third-partying a weak player, or storm holding someone, or maybe shooting from on top of a mountain at someone below them, but if it's anything close to a 50-50 fair fight off the rip, they're gonna do everything in their power to disengage or hide. Now sure, if you were playing in the Fortnite World Cup, that would actually be pretty smart to only take fights that you only know that you can win, but if you're a bad player trying to no longer be bad, that's the absolute worst thing that you can do, hands down. I get it, like I mentioned in the intro, it can be so frustrating to just die over and over again to players who are considerably better at the game than you, but at the end of the day, that's a necessary evil if you don't want to stay bad forever. Putting yourself in uncomfortable and tough fights helps you 10 times more than fights where you're just shooting at someone 30 meters away who isn't even looking at you. I mean, just think, what do you really learn from that that's gonna make you a better player? The honest answer is absolutely nothing. But when you push someone and get into a box fight, for example, even if you get absolutely destroyed, you start to learn some things. Over time, you'll begin to figure out what works in certain situations, what doesn't work, what skills you specifically need to improve, what it seems like other good players do. All of those pieces of information are absolutely crucial. There's a saying in sports that losses teach you more than wins do, and I think the same thing applies to Fortnite. You can learn more from a 0-kill game where you get absolutely destroyed than a game where you get 5 kills and they're all just third parties and snipes. So if you're one of those players that treats public matches like the World Cup and you find yourself constantly getting to endgame with only 1 or 2 kills, it's not that there's anything wrong with playing like that if you legitimately enjoy it, but just know that's probably the worst thing you can do if you're trying to improve as a player. The next important tip I have that I think is crucial for below average players trying to get better is to play more solos, and if you have to play team game modes, try to play with people around your skill level. I don't think it's even up for debate that solos are way better for improving than duos, trios, or squads. In team game modes, your decisions and plays are just less important in the grand scheme of things because you have teammates. If you mismanage your mats or healing, for example, you can just take some of your teammates and then you don't even get punished for that. If you make a really stupid push and get brought down to low health, you can just disengage and have your teammate distract the enemies so they can't really push you and clean up the kill. And on the flip side, if you're playing squads and your 2 to 3 friends die early in the fight, well now you're in a 1v3 or 1v4 and you have basically no chance from the very beginning. So it's not that you don't learn anything from team modes, that obviously isn't true, but solos just teach you so much more because it's much more sink or swim. Both your good and bad decisions matter a lot more than they do in team modes. However, I understand that solos can be boring, trust me, I agree, and I mainly play team modes myself, so if you want to play duos or squads, you really need to try to play with players close to your skill level. You don't really learn anything by being totally carried by really good players, and it can actually hurt you because it creates this situation where they're always the one getting kills, so it basically forces you to play really reckless and stupid because you want to get a kill before your teammates do. Now I get that in reality it isn't that simple, it's not like you have an endless supply of friends with various skill levels to choose from, but that's just something you can keep in mind when trying to find people to play with. The next tip to stop being a Fortnite bot is arguably the most important. You need to get into the habit of playing creative mode as much, if not more, than regular games. Now I want to make one thing very clear when I say playing creative mode, that doesn't necessarily mean doing creative training courses. I think that is very beneficial if you're specifically trying to improve your mechanics, which are really important, but I get that some people just find that too boring. So the best thing to do in creative mode is honestly to grind out mini games either with your friends preferably or just by using creative mode matchmaking. Obviously, the big two practice mode mini games that everybody agrees are the best are box fights and zone wars, but you don't have to just limit yourself to those by any means. Realistic 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4s are, in my opinion, the most fun mini games to play, and it works with pretty much any amount of people, which is an added bonus. You can do regular 1v1s, you can do early game fight simulations, you can do end game moving zone simulations. There are just a ton of really good creative mode mini games out there that are super fun to play, and they're one of the best ways to quickly get better at the game. You don't have to play them all day, but let's say you only have an hour and a half to play Fortnite total. I think the best way to use that time would be an evenly split 45 minutes for real games and 45 minutes for creative mode. The last thing I want to say in this video is a bit of motivational advice. Right now is one of the best times to try and improve as a Fortnite player. With games like Among Us, Fall Guys, and many others gaining popularity, a lot of average Fortnite players are going to be taking elongated breaks from the game. So when those players come back, their skill is probably going to be lower than where they left. If you continue to play Fortnite even for just a little bit each day, you're really going to gain skill-wise on those average players. Don't get frustrated because you aren't seeing daily improvement, because that's not really how it works. Just take it one day at a time, and as long as you stay consistent, you will gradually become better and better at the game no matter what skill level you're starting at. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. On a scale of 0 to 10, how much of a bot do you think you are as a Fortnite player, with 0 being not a bot at all and 10 being a super bot? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.